Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with atbbq.com, and this is Mexican Chopped Brisket. But today I want to share with you guys a really fun technique for breaking down a brisket and cooking it about as fast as possible. Now this is brisket meat that's going to be first smoked, then it's going to be braised in a pot with a bunch of chilies and a bunch of other good aromatics that are going to give you a fantastic meat for tacos, taco salads, tortas, sandwiches, whatever you want to do with Mexican chopped brisket. Today we're going to be cooking on the Yoder Smokers Loaded Wichita. This is good old serial number one, the first Yoder ever made, so it's always a fun cook. The thing we got to do is we got to get a charcoal chimney going so we have a coal base to put our logs on top of. We're going to fill this chimney all the way up to the top with our Kamado Joe big block charcoal. Throw a couple fire starters underneath. And just let this go till it's ripping hot all the way to the top. All right, we're just about all the way to the top. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this in the back half of our firebox. And then we're gonna keep this coal bed on this back half so we can throw a split on and have a split warming in the front at the same time. Today we're cooking with some apple and pecan. So here we have our brisket. This is a brisket flat, so this is the lean meat. This is a Creekstone Farms prime brisket, so you know it's gonna be good. I talked about this being a quick brisket cook, and this is the reason why. We're gonna cut it all up. We're gonna cut this into roughly 2-inch cubes, and then we're gonna smoke these pieces individually. Now what this does for us is this is going to give us the opportunity to get seasoning and smoke all around this brisket meat really quickly. So whereas normally you'd probably smoke a brisket for 6-8 hours before you even think about wrapping it or doing anything else to it, today it's only going to take 2 to 3 hours probably. So the great thing about having chopped brisket as an end goal is that it doesn't matter if we cook this brisket whole or if we cut it up into pieces. We're going to get there either way, and either way it's going to end up chopped up. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of Worcestershire sauce on for a binder. Get all those surfaces coated. And then we're gonna hit it with our rubs. So we're doing 2 rubs today. A lot of times I like to do this technique where you put a little bit finer rub on first and then a little bit more coarse rub on second, and it gives you a great bark. So we're gonna start with Cattleman's Grill Mexicano. This is where we get some of those chili flavors, the cumin, all of those things that we associate kind of with Mexican food, at least here in the States. So we're gonna make sure we get all sides coated with the rub before we move on to our second. And now for our coarse rub, we're using Cattleman's Grill Lone Star Brisket Rub. This is real simple: salt, pepper, garlic, and celery seed. So again, we're just coating all sides in that rub. Now to make transporting these easier, and I don't mean just now, but all throughout this cooking process, we're just gonna put these on a wire rack and transfer the whole rack in and out of the smoker. We've got the smoker stabilized at about 275 degrees. So we're just gonna let this smoke away until we get a nice bark on the outside. Well, we are 2.5 hours into the cook now. We really haven't done anything but let this smoke. But check that out. That is some good looking bark. It's had plenty of smoke on it. 172 on the internal right now. You can see that, that fat rendering. All right, so at this point, these are ready to go into braise mode. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transform our smoker to a grill. We're gonna do the rest of the cook here in the firebox. So I'm gonna get another chimney of charcoal going. And we'll spread our charcoal out, throw a grate in here, and then we can put our Dutch oven right here in the firebox and finish the cook there. Now we're gonna add a few more ingredients to our Dutch oven as we do this braise. Because essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a sauce out of the braising liquid. So we're gonna have some onions, some garlic, we've got some chilies over here. And then when the beef is nice and tender, ready to come out, then we can separate it from the sauce that we've created and blitz that up and work it right back into the chopped beef. So in a braise, I'm just gonna do a large dice. We'll let these break down in the Dutch oven. Got a couple good sized cloves of garlic. We're just gonna smash them and peel them and throw them in. No need to chop them up. Now for the chilies, we've got 1 chipotle here. I'm just gonna cut these into pieces. We'll get any seeds out right now. And then I'm gonna cut them into small pieces and they'll just rehydrate on their own during the cook. And then same thing with our guajillos. Pop those open and get the seeds out. And then just snip them right in there. So now we're adding flavor to the beef in the braise, and then we're gonna be able to add even more when we turn that braise liquid into the sauce and work it back into the chopped beef. And then before we get our beef in here, the last thing is a little bit of Mexican oregano. Just throw our brisket in the Dutch oven. And then we're gonna add 1 quart of beef stock. I wanna make sure everyone's nestled in there nicely. Doesn't have to be covered in liquid, just has to be some liquid up on that meat to get it to braise and break down. Charcoal is hot. We're gonna dump this out right in the center now. Spread it out just a little bit. We're gonna concentrate the heat right in the middle though. So that's where our Dutch oven's gonna sit. Now the Loaded Wichita does have a shelf that will fit right here on these rails. But being that this is serial number 1, the dimensions have changed slightly. Lucky for me, a pellet grill grate also fits perfectly. All right, close up the lid and let it braise. It's been about 1 hour and 15 minutes now. I'm gonna show you guys what's going on. That liquid's just reduced down. It looks almost syrupy now. These are starting to feel tender. I mean, they're definitely feeling tender. If we temp these, they're gonna be over 200. Yeah, creeping up on 210. Now these aren't just gonna shred just yet. They still have a little bit of tug to them, a little bit of bite. And that's what we want when we're doing chopped. They don't necessarily want it to shred. We want it to hold a little bit of form when it's chopped, so we're gonna pull these out now. Now we're just gonna pluck the cubes of brisket out of here and we'll blend up the rest. Oh, that looks amazing. Already nice and thick. Might even have to water that down just a little bit. Nothing scorched to the bottom, so we're in great shape. That is like pure gravy right there. So into the blender with everything else. And if you need to, you can add a little bit more liquid, some water, some beef stock, Corona. I don't know, it's a pretty good consistency right now though. Just get it fully pureed. I'm gonna add just a touch of water. That'll help it at least pour out of there a little bit easier. Nice and smooth. Smells incredible. Now it's time to do the knife work. We're gonna do the chopping. So you can see it's like the connective tissues aren't completely broken down yet. So that's gonna give it that bite. Now if you wanna take this further, if you want it kind of shredded, falling apart, you certainly can. Just add a little bit more liquid to that braise and keep going. But I really like this consistency and this texture. All right, we're about there. Fully chopped, I'd say. So we're ready to pour the sauce over the top. And then we're gonna mix it in. So now the great thing is, it's not only coating the chopped beef, chopped brisket, but it's actually gonna be absorbing a lot of that sauce back up, which is going to make the chopped brisket super juicy. Let's get a taste. Oh my gosh. That's delicious. Got a nice kind of mellow medium heat, super earthy, super smoky. 2.5 hours of smoke. That's all it got. That's all it needed. Man, really tender, saucy, delicious. This is fantastic for tacos, for sandwiches, whatever else you got in mind. And under 4 hours for a brisket. Let's make a little sandwich. Put down a little guacamole. Load it up with some of our Mexican chopped brisket. A little sprinkle of cotija cheese on top. A couple of pickled jalapenos. That's a nice little simple sandwich. The pickle's a good addition. The acidity breaks up a lot of that richness. That's a great little sandwich. I love this project because it's short and because it tastes amazing. I hope you guys will give it a try. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out atbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you enjoy the recipe, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to atbbq.com/thesauce. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.